All right, welcome into another episode of the 2022 MLB Draft Show. After a 1 week hiatus for the holidays, we are back and we're representing the Pacific Northwest this week, going with a little Gonzaga Bulldog baseball. Gabriel Hughes, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, the pride of Eagle, Idaho, Gabriel, I got to know, man. What is it like being a native Idahoan? I mean, I went to Wazoo, 8 miles from Idaho. I know the area well. Putting Idaho on the map.
Yeah, it's something, you know. When I went and played this summer, I played over on the East Coast with a bunch of SEC, ACC guys. I was the first person I ever met from Idaho, so that's basically what it's like being from Idaho in a nutshell. Um, Most people's first person they've ever met from Idaho. Get asked about the potatoes a lot. Get asked about farms. They go, "Isn't that the place with the blue football field?" I've gotten it all. That's basically Idaho in a nutshell.
Well, hey man, let's hope that you put a bigger reputation on Idaho than just potatoes and blue turf, yeah?
Hey, that's the goal.
All right, man. Well, why don't you take these first 30 seconds, a minute, take as long as you need. Explain Gabriel Hughes on the mound and a little bit about yourself off the field.
Yeah, so my name's Gabriel Hughes, right-handed pitcher from Eagle, Idaho. On the mound, I would say I'm not really a fun person to be around. I get really fiery, get super pissed in between innings. I sit by myself in the dugout, just kind of staring to nowhere. I'm not really a fun person. Even if we're winning, I'm super intense, super focused all the time. Not really a fun person to be around, in my opinion. Off the field, I'd like to think I'm a completely different person. I think my friends, my teammates, my roommates, I think they would all describe me as a nerd. Um, I spend a lot of time reading. I like school a lot, so I spend a lot of time studying. I mean, I can solve a Rubik's cube, like just like little stuff. But I think my friends would pretty much classify me as a nerd off the field.
You are the Max Scherzer of Idaho.
I just have two same colored eyes, but that's about the only
There
difference.
you go. No, I spoke to a couple evaluators, a couple scouts that saw you on the East Coast for CNT, and have seen you a little bit here and there in film. And the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "I would not want to be in the box against Gabriel Hughes. That guy is an absolute animal." Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know, but that's I mean, that's as for as long as I can remember, that's how it's always been, is as soon as I step onto the mound, it's just I'm in a different zone, I'm in a different world. Like, I don't hear anything around me. I'm just so focused on pitching that I don't know. There's just some sort of intensity that as soon as I step on the mound, it just flicks on. And I mean, again, I don't think I'm that person off the field, but I don't know where it comes from. It's just always been that way. Like, even back to high school, back to I mean, being a kid, I just take it so seriously that I don't have any room for I don't even know, like, goofing off. I just have to be serious all the time.
You're gonna get a rash of text messages from your friends saying, "Hey, just so you know, you're insane. You're a psychopath off the field too."
Yeah,
Like,
that is what I'm concerned about.
all right. So I'm enough about the attitude a little bit. That's a big part of competing at the highest level. But why don't you tell the viewers and the listeners a little bit about your arsenal, kind of how you like to attack hitters?
Yeah, so up until basically this last spring, I was just a two-pitch guy. I was fastball slider 95% of the time. And then over the I kind of I missed the last half of our season, because I had a hand injury when I was hitting, and as soon as I was able to throw again, I kinda had to throw with my fingers taped together, and so, all of a sudden, for about a month straight, I just had to throw changeups, just had to throw changeups. So, all of a sudden, I became more than a two-pitch guy. All of a sudden, I had a changeup. So then going into the summer, going into the fall, now I have a four-seam fastball, two-seam fastball, slider, curveball, changeup, kind of mixed with all five, and been trying to become more than just a two-pitch guy that I was last year. Um, and so, I mean, kind of going along with the mentality, I'm definitely a fastball heavy pitcher. I'm a very much fastball attack, challenge, force you to hit my fastball, and then have everything else play off of that. Um, so yeah, I mean, I've been working on trying to be more well-rounded as far as my pitches go, but I mean, it really for me, it just starts and ends with fastball attack.
I want to talk specifically about the two pitches because the changeup is going to be unleashed in the world in 2022, and I don't want to give anything away. But the fastball slider, I want to talk to you about those two pitches. At the collegiate national team, there was a lot of work being done with clean fuegos and trying to get just more ride and more shape on different pitchers' fastballs. I know that you have a four seam and you have a two seam. Did you employ any of that training in North Carolina trying to get more ride on the fastball, or kind of what's your mentality with the heater?
Yeah. So I'd never seen a clean fuego ball before I got there, and then I saw a couple of guys playing catch with it. I was like, oh, kind of wonder what's that like. Just started playing around with it, and it was really cool to be able to see my spin, and how it's leaving my hand. Because something that's, I mean, for as far as long as I can remember, something I've always done is cut my fastball. So anything I
Hmm.
throw glove side, I get a lot of cut on it. And so all of a sudden started throwing that clean flag, and I was like, oh, that's where it comes from. Like I can all of a sudden see that. So that was really cool to see. Um, but as far as the fastball work, I think my big thing over the summer, I really tried to work on that two seam. Because like I said, I always cut my ball, and so I was never able to pronate, which is why I never really had a changeup or had a two seam to go
Hmm.
with my four seam. So I mean, my biggest focus was just two seam changeup, two seam changeup. I was just every day trying to feel that pronation, trying to see it with the clean fuego, trying to feel it, and feel it coming off my fingers to find something I could repeat and be consistent with.
With the slider, I watched quite a bit of your film leading up to this, and it seems like in 2021, over those I don't know 8 or 9 starts, I think you had, you threw two different breaking balls. It looked like you had one breaking ball that had a lot more sweep, and then you also were able to throw a slider with a little bit more bullet spin and kind of bury it in the dirt. Is that something that you are cognizant of, or like how do you like to work spin?
Yeah. As I mean, last year, it was something I noticed. It wasn't something I did on purpose.
Hmm.
So sometimes it'd come out of my hand more like a fastball. Sometimes it come out of my hand, I'd get around it and it was more like a slider. And so that's really what happened is sometimes I'd accidentally throw like a fastball and I get 89, 90, but just with really tight cut or really sharp sink. And then other times I'd get more around it and be, I don't know, 82, 84 with much more of the sweep. So that was something that was really unintentional last spring. But then like I was able to recognize that. And then this fall, that was something I worked on was trying to really develop a more consistent slider shape instead of just trying to get a cut fastball as well as a four seam fastball when there wasn't that much of a velocity difference between the two. So, I mean, yeah, it was something I had recognized this fall and then tried to implement and tried to work on developing that pitch shape.
Gotcha. Well, you spoke on the hand injury. I do want to bring it up. You were gangbusters last year, really throwing well. You were hitting well. I mean, you were kind of the two-way guy doing it both. I know you got hit on the hand. You broke your hand. Um, how was that? I mean, watching Gonzaga go out and play. Gonzaga was loaded last year, and you guys obviously missed you the second half of the season. What was that like?
I mean, there's really no words to describe it. Anyone who's had an injury like that, where you've had to miss time, had to watch your team play. I mean, you know how it feels, but there's really no good way to describe it. It just, I mean, it sucked.
Hmm.
I'm a really fierce competitor, and it sucked having to sit on the sideline and watch my team go out and compete without me for weekend after weekend after weekend. And initially, there was hope that it'd be back after 2 to 3 weeks, and then I went and saw the doctor, and he pushed it back another couple weeks, and then he pushed it back another couple weeks, and I don't know, man. It just, I mean, to work so hard all fall, all winter, half of the spring, and then not be able to finish with my team, it sucked.
Yeah.
But I mean, I tried to be the best teammate I could. Try to be in the dugout cheering. Tried to be, I don't know, make up for it somehow. But I mean, there's really no way to describe it.
Yeah. Did you know right away it was broken?
No, I played the rest of the game. I didn't think
Yeah.
anything of it. I played the rest of the game. I got a hit, and then I went to throw the next day, and I like it was kind of swollen because I figured I got hit on the fingers. Like I'm sure it'd be a little swollen, a little bruised. And so I went to throw the next afternoon at practice and just had a shooting pain in my hand. And so then I told my coach, was like, hey, like something's wrong. And so we went and text my trainer, got an x-ray that day, and then saw there was a little fracture.
Got it. Um, I got to bring him up because I think Pacific Northwest, he stayed here. It seems like you guys have the exact same mentality. How much do you watch or take pride in the fact that Marco Gonzales is a Gonzaga Bulldog? And do you aim to be the first Gonzaga Bulldog taken in the first round since 2013? I mean, I guess does the Marco Gonzales conversation come up in your day-to-day training and with coaches and with fans and things like that?
Yeah, so I think one of the really cool things about my program is how much of a feeling of family it is. So
Mhm.
last winter, Harm, our pitching coach, he asked me, he's like, "Hey, like, going into the season, it seems like you might have a chance to have a prominent role on the pitching staff as well as hitting. And I want you to be able to manage that. So I'm going to set up a meeting with you and Marco, and I want you to be able to talk to him, be able to pick his brain about everything, just to kind of figure out how he did it, so you can succeed going forward." And I thought that was really cool because I don't know about other programs, but I don't know how many big leaguers there are that would be willing to take the time to meet with some high school senior or college sophomore who really hasn't proven that much yet. But I thought that was incredible. So I met with him, talked with him, and you're right. He has the absolute same competitive mindset I do. And I mean, it was just like, I don't know, talking into mirror when I was talking to him. I mean, he gave me some incredible insight. And it's actually kind of funny because I just texted him last week too. Like, because he was like, I had his numbers. He was like, "Hey, text me anytime you have questions." Like, I've texted him off and on, and I texted him last week, talking about like how to handle pressure, like going into the season, how he handles it at the big league level, and then kind of how I could be able to manage at the college level. And I don't know. Again, I don't know how other programs run it, but I think it's really cool to be able to have that conversation with him and have him willing to take the time. And I think that's just also just kind of the pride he takes in this program and wanting everyone after him to succeed as he did. And so obviously, like for selfish reasons, I want to be the first guy taken in the first round since him. But when I was talking to him, that's not what came up. Like that's not important to him. That's not important to me, really. It's how to be competitive and how to carry that over to the next level. So, I mean, he's been a great resource, and it's been incredible being able to talk to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Team first and let the chips fall where they may. All you can do is put your front foot forward.
Absolutely.
Gabriel, so let's talk about 2022. Gonzaga returns a pretty good program. You guys are looking like you're going to be another force. What are you most looking forward to for this season in the Bulldogs?
I'm selfish, so I'm a pitcher. I'm most looking forward to the pitching staff. I think there are a lot of really good arms on our team. A lot of guys who had great summers. Guys like Tristan Vreeling went out to the Cape, was a Cape Cod All Star. Will Kempner was in the Alaska League, was a top prospect in the Alaska League. And we have other guys like Brody Jesse, like young guys like Owen Wild, or I mean Brad Mullen. Like we have so many pitchers that I think we could have a really special team spearheaded by our pitching staff. Because again, I'm selfish. I'm a pitcher. I obviously want our guys to do well. I want everyone to do well, but like as a pitcher, I want the pitchers to do well. And I'm so excited to see this kind of all the pitchers go out and compete because there are some really good falls as far as the pitchers go, and I think we'd have a really special effort this spring, spearheaded by our pitching staff.
Love it, man. Well, these last few questions, we kind of like to keep you on your toes a little bit, ask you some questions, bring your personality out a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep this first one Gonzaga related. More uncomfortable at bat, Gabriel Hughes or William Kempner?
Will Kempner, hands down.
Yeah,
I don't know how many guys there are that throw 96 from a low three quarters arm slot. It was. I mean, I faced him a couple times in the fall, and I had to pick up my thumbs after every at bat because every time I just get sawed off on some sinker, something that ran half the plate into my hands, and I just be cursing at my hands as I was jogging down to first base because no, it is not fun facing him.
yeah. I mean, if you tunnel those two pitches, he's got a 2.5 foot spread with where the
Yeah,
ball's going
it's
to end up.
stupid.
It's brutal, man.
Yeah.
All right, here's a good question for you. Gonzaga plays all over the Northwest, especially in up Northern California. Let's keep it in Washington. What college baseball program in the state of Washington has the most lackluster fans?
Ah, man, that's a good question. The thing I don't know because I've only played 1 year, so I've only played at Washington State once, at UW once, and I haven't played at Seattle U, so I don't know if I have the full, um, I don't know, the full experience. From what I've heard, from what I've heard, could be Seattle U. I don't know though because I haven't been there, but I mean between UW and Wazoo, probably UW. Wazoo had a student section that was on our head the whole time. They had some chairs. They were banging trash cans. Not really fun to play against.
It's what we
So I
do,
mean,
man. There's nothing
yeah,
to do
no,
in there's nothing to do in Pullman. We just take our dorm chairs and slam them up against things.
yep, that's exactly what happened. It was, I mean, it was a pretty rowdy student section. So I probably got to say UW.
All right. Better baseball prospect out of the state of Idaho, Gabriel Hughes or Kyle Manzardo?
um, hmm, different animal, same beast. Kyle, I played him in high school. That man can flat out rake. He's hit so well since his freshman year of high school. Um, I don't know. I think we do two very different things. I'd like to say myself, but he had a great spring last year. He got drafted really high, and then I was following him in the minors after that. He had a great couple months in the minors. So, I mean, it remains yet to be seen, but I think he's a pretty good candidate.
It's a good answer, man. All right, last question for you. What is the most random fact that you know about anything? State of Idaho. Most random fact that you know about anything that not a lot of people know.
Oh, that's a good question. To tell you about Idaho, I could tell you the last Olympian they had was Peekaboo Street. She was a skier from Eastern Idaho. Her name was called Peekaboo Street, and so she has a
I
place in East
remember
Idaho.
Peekaboo Street.
Yeah, called Peekaboo Street after her. I could name every county of in the state. Really random. I could name every county because in
That
third
is
grade
random.
we had to memorize it.
All right, I
So
got one more question for you. Have you played Coeur d'Alene and did you hit the green?
I have not. I don't have that kind of money. That's an
Yeah,
expensive.
I
That's an
know.
expensive round,
I'm
and
wondering
I
whether or
am.
not Gonzaga took you out as a team or something, but if you
Oof.
ever do, let me know. Relay back whether or not you hit the green. I haven't played it yet, but it's on the short list.
Yeah, no, I mean, we went out this past fall, watched our women's golf team compete there, and everyone's like, "Oh, we could hit I could hit the green. I couldn't hit the green. I 100%
No,
could not.
no
I'm
way.
not that good."
No way. That thing is a postage stamp. It's a lunchbox in the water.
Yeah,
Nobody's
yeah,
hitting that
way
green.
too small.
Gabriel Hughes, Gonzaga University, Eagle, Idaho. Thank you so much for joining the show, man. Appreciate you.
Of course, thank you.